This thing is badass, but it's not perfect. Today we talk about the Rode Podmic, my experience with it, how it compares to something like the AT2020. Let's get into this one, shall we? What's up everybody, it's the BigE. First and foremost, thank you for stopping by today's video. Today's little review on the Rode Podmic. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, this thing is absolutely insane. For $100, I think it's hard to even question the idea of getting this, but in today's video, I do want to kind of like highlight a couple reasons as to why some people would not want to get this. I've just had to adapt to a couple things in comparison to the AT2020. The Rode Podmic might cater to somebody that's more of a live streaming podcast type person. They like to sit down, have the conversation, they're there in a specific spot. The AT2020 is more of an entertainment, in my opinion, mic, in terms of just interaction and content. Now, I do want to point out that I can only compare these two because these are my experiences. I did get to use the Shure SM7B for like a month, but I didn't do any real like die-hard testing in comparison. I can say that the Shure mic was a lot easier to deal with, but I also didn't have to pay $400 for it. Let's be real, that's a huge factor into a lot of this. I also do want to mention today that a lot of what we're going to be talking about is in terms of content creation. Just using your vocals, live streaming, podcasts, creating YouTube videos. If you're here wondering about studio, recording musical equipment, this probably is not going to be the video for you. Just giving you a heads up on that one. Both these microphones are coming in at around $100. AT2020 is actually in like a $90 range right now. So if your whole thing is to save $10, maybe you want to just go with this guy instead. But overall, still roughly around $100 range. Very affordable options nonetheless. So both these microphones are XLR cables, the weird little open hole with 3 prongs, a little 3-way action. Also need to mention as well, there is a USB AT2020 version. I'm not gonna suggest that. I've heard a lot of bad things about that. Doesn't quite stand up to XLR. For microphones like this, you are going to need some kind of amp, some kind of mixer to be able to plug the XLR cable into and then digitally get it on your computer. If you're on a budget, there are plenty like $80, $90 options, like a pre-Sonos audio box, for example. That's actually what I use. Simple, cheap, affordable. Gets the job done. So I'm not here to educate you, but I just want to give you a little brief background. What is the differences between these two? But they're essentially the same cost, but they're very different microphones in itself. The Rode Podmic is a dynamic mic, as to where the AT2020 is a condenser mic. To make it very simple, dynamic mics work best when recording a direct, loud sound. This has a more strict recording path, being, the front end in this example. As to where condensers, however, amplify signal to capture a large range, which is good if you're gonna be moving around the microphone in itself.
Okay, so this is the Rode Podmic test right here. As you can tell, I'm a little bit closer to it, but you hear the quality in it, right? You hear the like substance to my voice. You really get a lot of my voice, the direction of it. You're not picking up a lot of background stuff. A downside, however, is you can see how fast sound falls off when moving to the side or being right in front of it or moving to the side. Once you back away from the mic, it's really hard to pick those things back up. And here we have the AT2020, and I'm sure you're gonna hear a lot of spikes, a lot of peaking. That's one good thing about the Podmic. Due to it being, I assume, a dynamic mic versus a condenser like this one, it doesn't hit those peaks. But a benefit to this one is obviously like if I'm moving around, kind of going around the room, you'll start hearing some background noises, and I'm sure you're hearing some reverb because this room is so poorly set up for sound. We're about to move soon, so I'm not too worried about it. But as you can tell, this really picks up sound from different directions. If you're a person that doesn't really like to stand still, this is really good. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
The big question, how does the Rode Podmic compare to the Shure SM7B? Like I've already mentioned in the video, I don't have too much experience with the Shure mic. The fact that that is $400 as to where this is $100, it's already a huge argument in itself. They're both dynamic mics, they're both wired. I noticed that the Shure mic had a little bit more bass naturally to it, but I just used a voice meter for this and turned up the bass. So again, I'm not a mic mic tech. I'm not an audio geek, so there are probably videos out there to where if you really want to get into the differences between those two, you could probably check them out. Same thing with these two. I'm sure there are more things out there on the interwebs. I just wanted to make a pretty clear cut, to the point video on the Rode Podmic. Overall, I love the thing. It produces great audio. If you're looking to really just be still, hang out, record a podcast, do a live stream, things like that, just create some content, the Rode Podmic is probably going to be the one for you. It just produces a lot more quality. It's a little bit more annoying to deal with. You're under more strict guidelines, but I think the general sound when you are in a place to control it is really good with the Rode Podmic. That's where the condenser, you might need a pop filter, you might have a lot of background noise, but you get a little bit more freedom. But I definitely can't sleep on the AT2020. If I didn't have the option to switch to a Rode Podmic, I wouldn't be stressing about it because this thing is still amazing. I would suggest either or. At the end of the day, these are just my experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know if you have any experiences in the comments down below. If you have any questions, suggestions, or concerns as well, hit them up in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video or you found it helpful in any way, shape, or form, leave a little like on it. And as always, be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications. That should already be a thing. What are you doing if you're not? That's all I got for you guys today. I'm out. Peace.